It's because of his mother, his sister, their influence they have, their family that they have here, that they're using their influence and money, dashing money everywhere. These are the reasons why I'm living without my children. I don't understand how an American is having custody of my children, my Kenyan children, and I'm a Kenyan mother. I don't understand how this is happening to Patricia Roche. That's my stage name, but my name is Patricia Berry, and this is my story. I love you. You're gonna promise to be good boys? Say yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also like a jack of all trades. They like to call me Connect because I like to try and build a business community whereby if you need something and I know many people, I can connect you easily. So basically that's what I've been doing. But mostly I've been a stay-at-home mom mothering my children. In 2018, I welcomed my second-born son. Although the pregnancy was very tough because of my husband, I came to know of his infidelity and I addressed it. And from then on, it was the pits. The marriage broke down. And soon after my second-born son was born, who is now 4 years old, the marriage was not working. So he left the country to go back to America to his mother. The home we live in is his family home, of which I knew of. But we had also a dream to finish an unbuilt house that his mother kept saying, it's our house. That's your house, we're gonna come and finish it. Otherwise, I had planned a long time ago to leave the home, the family home, and to start off on my own. But now I see they had ulterior motives. Now it comes to me like they kept me there so I don't have a stable income, so I don't have friends and family around me. He continued to provide for the children, the home, the basic necessities. My son was shy of 6 months. He should have, I think he left in March. So my son was almost 3 months old. And my firstborn was 3. So his role as a father, he provided for the home. And me as a mother, I was there to give the extra care, the special care that I did with all my pride and glory. At that time, I was breastfeeding, nurturing the young one. My firstborn had just started kindergarten, taking him to school, being there on a daily. I also had my daughter with me that time. Due to some reasons, she couldn't live with us when we got married because her father didn't approve. But when Tom left, I had all my 3 children with me. While Tom was away, communication was very hard. I had to initiate communication for the children to see their father via WhatsApp. Otherwise, he was, for lack of a better word, absent and not interested. When he started giving me reports of him and his mother moving back to Kenya in December, I urged him for me to move out. But his mother and him kept saying, nobody's chasing you. We're coming home to resolve things. We're coming home to live as a family. Please don't go, don't take the children out of the home. So trying to be prayerful and hopeful that things might look up in the issue of the children, having both parents present, that was where I was hopeful. But in terms of the relationship was broken down. So in early December, his mom arrived to kampokea vizuri, and we were happy she was home. My children were very ecstatic that she was home. And 2 days later, Tom came home. I was unable to give him a warm welcome because for 4 years, while he was away, close to 4 years, there was no resolve. We could never talk on a civil conversation, or we could never agree, or he could never apologize for his infidelity or reassure me that the home is best if we try and sort things out, go for counseling or anything. He would never agree to his faults. And 23rd of April, I got a job to do events, hosting, and basically at this point I was just looking for any way of income. So I got this hosting gig on the 23rd, which him and his mother escorted me to. And it was an all-night gig. Prior to that, it was the children's school holiday, where I had arranged for myself and my children to visit my mother in her home for the week. This didn't go well and didn't sit well with Tom and his mother, so they refused. And because of previous times I've attended a friend's birthday or an event that led me to be a little bit late, to come back home late, it would always be a very big issue with his mother and him, because it was like I was trapped. I was not allowed to have friends. I was not allowed to go anywhere without them or the children. I was basically a slave to them. And today, now, being out of the home, I realized I was oppressed. I was tied down by them. And it somewhat made me very, very sad. It was very sad, and I lost a lot of friends and family. So on the day that I was having the gig, plans changed the night before as we were going to my mom's house. And they dropped me to the gig, and we were communicating, and my children had gone to visit his sister, the auntie, for the day. Being a Sunday, they'd go to church, have lunch, and, just relax. And then he would pick them up and take them home, because his mother was also at a function, a family function, of which I communicated with them the whole day. And in the evening, when they were going home around 11, they actually called me and asked me if they should come pick me up, to which the gig had started quite late, and there was no way I was going to abandon my responsibility. So I stayed on. The gig ended around 3 a.m., where I tried to go back to the house, only to find I was locked out. I had keys. I always have keys. I always have access. But at this point, they had locked me out. So I went back to the neighbor's house. We gave it some hours, came back. They'd still locked me out, but only this time the neighbors told me that they had left. They'd just seen them leaving, and there was a padlock now on the outside gate. So I was devastated, and I never thought that this would happen to me. I never thought that I would be denied access to my children, or to even talk to them or see them. Please note, at this time, since they came in December, my daughter went back to reside in her father's home. So immediately this happened, I tried to reach out to the elders in the family, of his family. And prior to this, all of this, in December when they came, I had actually asked for kikao, a family meeting, just to discuss the way forward. But every time my mom and my uncles would be ready to come, they would make excuses not to host them. So kikao never happened. So when on the 23rd, now let's say the 24th morning, I tried reaching out to the family, and I was not getting a response. So I called my lawyer, and he urged me, one of my lawyers, he urged me to report the incident. So as I made my way to Karen police station, On making my report, the gender officer alerted me that my mother-in-law and my husband were there earlier to report that I had abandoned my children. Bibi ametoroka boma, that's what they said. Which is a lie, because they locked me out and they took my children away. So with the help of the current police, we at least got to talk to them and find out that they had taken my children to his auntie's house in Kiambu Road, Muthaiga. And that is a place I'm not well welcomed. Even in the marriage before, it's not a safe place for me, and I've declined invites. So first I went to Karen police station, and from there I went to the children's office in Langata, where he was summoned, but due to the mandamano, the meeting was postponed. But I came to gather that there was some funny business going on that maybe had influenced them, because now my case was not being handled correctly. So I reported that to Human Rights Office.
Which school are you?
I was summoned to the chief of Karen, where she ordered my husband Tom to give me the children for the remaining days before they opened school, because it was the 5th day I had not seen or heard from my children. And he was also ordered to bring me some clothes, as I had nothing. I left going for the event knowing I'm coming back home. So you can imagine how dreadful it was. At the chief's place, he got me some clothes, although I specifically requested for some of my important documents and some clothes and shoes, but he just brought me stuff that I don't even wear. And he declined to bring the children. Reasons he gave was because I told him I would do a story on this, because it's very unjust and unfair what's happening to me and my children. I'm doing this for my children so that they know one day that I didn't leave them.
Yeah, I sent it on email. Did you get it? Well, her case is a very simple one, because we are talking of someone who has been taking care of her kids. And taking care of her kids, it doesn't mean just financially, just being there. We all know that raising a child, you need to be there. It's not really about money. So she's been with her kids. It's a straightforward case. I mean, the husband has taken her to court, but I think the courts will do their part, because she ought to have physical custody of the kids.
The agreement so far is that I see them on Saturday after their extracurricular activities. But it's saddening, because children of that age need their mother. They've always been with me. He's made allegations that I've left my children for a week or weeks. This is a complete lie. Even if I work, or even if I attend events or whatever I do, I always go home. And everybody that knows me knows that my home is my sanctuary. I don't host friends. I don't drink alcohol in the house, for simple reasons that there are children and minors there, and I want to shield them from what I grew up seeing a lot. So I'm just trying to raise my children in a different manner. I need them to be loved, cared for, and also let them have their own lives to explore. It's totally ridiculous how he's an American citizen, although he's Kenyan, but he's an American now, and he has custody of my children. Children that I have raised single-handedly without him. Children that I have never disappointed. I've been there through sickness, sports days, teachers' meetings. It's absolutely devastating me that I cannot put my kids to bed, that I cannot take them to school, prepare their meals.
Patricia has raised all her kids on her own, despite the fact that the father of the children was sending money. She's been taking the kids for sports. I'm told she's been buying vegetables. Think of whatever a mother can do in her home. Yes, money is going. And maybe I need to stress that whatever the father of the children was doing, was paying for anything, he had to pay directly. We are looking of till numbers. So Patricia never received any money. And take note that she was unemployed. So once in a while, she would go out there to fend for her children. And you wake up one day, her children are taken away from her. It's very unfortunate. We don't need lawyers to dissect this case. It's a very clear case. And it's so unfortunate her rights were abused.
To go about my daily life without my children. Especially my young born now, my last born, he's 4, and he's never been ill before. Only yesterday, the school calling me to tell me that the boy is very sick. Tom doesn't even believe in taking medical insurance for these children. It's been a very tough situation I've lived with for 7 years, but I've held it down and tried my best to just be the mother I can be to my children. And now the father, the absent father coming to rearrange and destroy the routine and home that I have put together so hard. It's because of his mother, his sister, their influence they have, their family that they have here, that they're using their influence and money, dashing money everywhere. These are the reasons why I'm living without my children. I don't understand how an American is having custody of my children, my Kenyan children, and I'm a Kenyan mother. I don't understand how this is happening to Patricia Roche. That's my stage name, but my name is Patricia Berry, and this is my story. Prior to my mother-in-law coming back to Kenya, I had severally, maybe constantly, since they told me, I had even started looking for a house not far from the home because I didn't want to live with my mother-in-law, for reasons being 2 women cannot share a kitchen.
I just want to really urge Kenyans out there, especially mothers-in-law. It has been a big issue where mothers-in-law want to also get married with their sons. It's it's not even a legal issue, but I think as Kenyans, we need to look at these issues where you get married to someone and they are dealing with a mother and a son. And in this instance, we are talking of a house that someone has improved for 7 years and you are told leave.
Big boy. Right now, being out of there, I feel blessed, but I'm without my children. I'm working towards building myself up again, which will only take a few weeks or maybe a month or 2. I'm a fighter, and I do believe in just causes. So I'm putting this out there because I know there are many women who are oppressed, women with their children who are afraid of stepping out because of the security they think they have. All I want is justice and my children. And I want this to be out there for awareness that women, you can do it without... There are orphans out there that are making it without family, without guidance.
I wouldn't say that the law always protects the women, that you always have to have, custody of the children. That's not correct, because the law looks at various factors to come to such a decision. I mean, if you're a drunkard or, you're not in the right capacity to raise children, even if the child is 2 months, that mother cannot stay with the children. We look at, actually in law, we look at the best interests of the child. What is the best interest of the child? So if we believe that this mother is harmful to her own children, then of course the children will be given to the father. However, for this specific case, I think Kenyans out there, you don't even need to be a lawyer to, to look at this case and understand it, that it's a clear case. Because as I said, The gentleman was living in America for such a long time. He only came in December 2022, just like a few months ago. And when he left, the second born was 3 months. And now he's come back in December. The boy is 4 years. He's totally a stranger to this child. The father is totally a stranger to this child. And I've told you, raising a child just doesn't include money only. There are other issues. We've all been raised.
The only thing I want back from the marriage, from all this, is just my children. My daughter is very okay where she is, but as soon as I stabilize, I know she'll come home to me. I mean, in all this, I just want to play my role as a mother. That's the first crown I wear, is a mother. I want to mother my children as destined for every mother out there. I also want to be able to just be the sole caregiver, as I have been. My children, especially my last born, only met his father and his grandmother for the first time in December, and he's 4. My children are my life and my world. I have never imagined a day without them.
It's actually a big issue. There's a lacuna, there's a gray area that really judiciary or legislators ought to, address. We are talking of cases where people get married and you move into your mother-in-law's house. So you've called this home. Of course, we all know the definition of a matrimonial home. This is where one of the spouses owns the home, or both. But in this case, it's a unique one. It's your mother-in-law's home. So what do you call it? It's not a matrimonial home. But I mean, you've stayed in this home for Patricia's case, for example, 7 years. You've improved this home. You're like a tenant. One day you're told, get out. So there's a very big challenge in Kenya. And I think the judiciary ought to, start addressing such cases where you're staying with your mother-in-law, but it's not your home. At least for people who rent, the landlord gives you notice. But you're not even renting. It even makes the issue complex. You're staying with your mother-in-law, where she connives with your husband, with your spouse, because your relationship is no longer, stable. So they use that to throw you out. And remember, most of these ladies, they are unemployed. For example, Patricia's case, she's unemployed. She has no work. You wake up after 7 years living in such a home, you're told to go. So what happens? There are so many cases. Even I've handled a matter where the lady stayed in the home for 25 years. You get out with nothing. So it's also to call out, Kenyans out there, to, as much as you're staying with your in-laws, please work so hard, because that's not your matrimonial home. That's not your home in the definition of the law. That's not a matrimonial home. You're just a tenant who might not be given notice as compared to people who are renting. It's very, very unfortunate.